All right. So who were you when you started playing video games, and what led you to have like such a well accomplished career?
Man, when I started, I mean, we'll just start when I started playing COD, because like when I started playing video games, I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, you know. But when I first started playing COD, I was in high school, really not sure what I wanted to do with my life. I was kind of like 15 years old.
Like every single other. There's like 3 little nerds out there, and I love nerds. So this isn't derogatory. That know exactly what it is that they're gonna do. Period. And that's what power to them, because they know.
Yeah, I like didn't even know if I was going to college, and with the way that it worked out for me is, since I'm a little bit older than even the people that were playing back then, I kind of had to make the choice, like college or like, work at a job near my hometown or whatever it is. And kind of last minute, like applied at the last admission period to go to West Virginia University when I turned 18. And like COD was kind of just like a back pocket thing then.
Where are you from originally?
Virginia, like Northern Virginia. And COD was like a back pocket thing. Like it was fun. I played a lot of Halo growing up, and like almost competitively a little bit, and not ever like seriously, but enough to where we'd scrim and stuff online, and used to play against some of the old Halo pros like Shook One and Light King and all those guys. But then going into like 18, 19 years old, I went to college, and COD was still like nothing. Like I would go and compete at these like GameStop tournaments.
Which CODs are you talking about?
Oh man, this was back in Modern Warfare 2 around that time. And so
you played Call of Duty 4.
Yeah, COD 4 in 2008 and 2009. But it was just like, we played in the PCLs online, which if you guys don't know, they're like online pro circuit ladder. It's what the league basically was like back then, like integrated into game battles. And it was just for bragging rights. Like I did it in my spare time. I did it because it was fun, and I did it just to kind of talk shit. And like it was really just, back then it was kind of the wild, wild west of Xbox Live, like late 2000s. It's just kind of like anything goes. And so it was a lot of fun just to like get on there and have fun and actually be competitive. So I knew I had like some kind of talent there. Like, in like 2008, 2009, when I was competing against other like COD pros, top 8 teams, it's like, oh, I can compete with these guys if I have the right team or like the right players around me and put in enough time. Like, oh, I can compete with these guys and win. It was like $2,000 if you won the PCL in like 2008. So it was like not even a considerable amount of money, but to an 18-year-old, I mean, $2,000 is $2,000. And so it was really just like a fledgling, me figuring out who I was and where I was in life and kind of what I wanted to do. And Call of Duty was just kind of always there, like as an entertainment like avenue for me. It was never like something I even considered taking super serious.
And then once you did start, it was Modern Warfare 2 is when you were like, yeah, I mean, I can, I'm at the top right here. Like, I can do this shit.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was on AOX then, Art of Execution, with like Prof and Next and some of the old guys that probably not a lot of people watching this will know who they are. But we eventually, like going into Modern Warfare 2 in 2010, we're like, all right, let's like try and be the best GB team. Let's try and be the best team. Like any tournaments they have, let's try and win them all. And we ended up playing like really well at the start of the season. I think we got like 100-0 in GB at the time when that actually was a big deal. And then we were just kind of like, well, what do we play? And there's no LAN tournaments for the game. And so we're just like, well, I mean, nothing, I guess. We qualified for like a GameStop tournament for like 10K, and we're super stoked about it. It was like a grueling 3-week-long bracket to go to San Fran to play like for potential 10K. And so back then it was just like, how can I get to the place where I can make even a couple $1,000s off Call of Duty? Because that kind of supplemental income to a college kid is like everything. It meant I could eat something other than ramen for the week. So it was just like playing for rent money kind of. And back then that's really what it was all about, is like being able to play Call of Duty to survive almost.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the great things start with small beginnings. And I think that, I don't know what it was. I think it was like a literal perfect storm that happened in our field. Because imagine if Halo would have continued to be that successful esport and continue to grow the way that it was, because they started ahead and they had the backing of MLG, they had the backing of their own developers. And we, you, me, and everybody else involved said, you know what, we're kind of wasting our time here with Call of Duty. As fun as it is, and as that we need to make a living out of this. Let's go do this shit in Halo. Like, that could have been a path that happened. I think about this shit all the time. It could have been a path that happened, and who knows where that would have gone. Would it have been a successful? I don't know. But like the fact that the amount of people, the amount of brains, the amount of personalities that came into Call of Duty from the very beginning, sort of serendipitous, made this thing happen like magically, because is so many brains coming together to create something like massive, and it is big, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I even have like pretty close experience with like kind of how Halo versus Call of Duty was back then. I mean, So like one of the only LAN tournaments in Modern Warfare 2 was Nationals in Dallas.
Yep.
And they had like, we were a side station up against like in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's watching us. Halo had the main stage. StarCraft had this other side room. And I like I said, I came from Halo, and so I looked up to a lot of these Halo pros, and I'd like go up and try and talk to them, and they'd be like, "Oh, what do you play? You play StarCraft?" I'm like, "No, I play Call of Duty," and they'd just be like, "Oh," and like that like disappointment in their face and in their voice, and it was just like I felt so bad at the time. It made me feel like shit. And I've talked to the pros who did it to me since then, and they like apologize, and of course we've all grown and matured. But like back then, it was like COD was a little like stepbrother. Nobody talks about. He's just over there, and for it to now kind of come full circle to where now I'm picking up a Halo World Champion onto my team and being like welcoming him with open arms. It's like, hey, we're not like you guys.
Yeah, we're not like you. Halo, we're stuck up.
Yeah, we're not so stuck up. We welcome everybody open arms.
Red Bull athletes.
You got bleachers over there on your main stage, like So it's interesting to see just like how Call of Duty came from that to like being looked down upon to now where we can kind of have our own 2 feet to stand on. And it's like you said, it's a perfect storm. It's not one single thing that happened. It's like all of these things happening at the same time with a core group of like competitive people and content creators just like pushing the hell out of it to the point where everybody's like, oh wait, this is kind of entertaining. And that's all we needed to do was show people it, be like, watch this, you'll have fun watching it. You know?
That's how I knew that we at Optic were gonna be successful. That's how I knew that Call of Duty was gonna be successful, because the storylines that we had didn't happen. And I'm gonna give you the perfect example. XGames. We fucking didn't win shit all year, and then some people throw so they don't have to play a certain fucking team, and then we end up winning anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have won any other one, but we didn't. We won the one that was gonna be fucking covered by everyone, because it wasn't just Call of Duty audience. It was ESPN. It was like Fox Sports. It was the X Games. You know what I'm saying? That's how I knew. I'm like, storylines like these don't happen unless you write them in a story for a book or a movie. This shit doesn't happen. The way that you came onto the team, like, it doesn't happen. It took a series of events to happen that should have never happened. Scump leaving to Envy, and then that whole rotating, aspect of the whole situation. It was a shitty time, And I thank you for sticking around, because you didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like you could have said, like, this is fucking shit show. I'm fucking out. And then what would that have cost? What series of events would that have cost? Because one of the reasons that Seth wanted to come back was because he was gonna play with fucking clayster, and it wasn't gonna be we're playing. I'm obviously not talking shit about my good friend, best friend, big timer, but we were talking about a different fucking animal in you, right? You were like an actual fucking championship caliber fucking player. So like the series of events that happen don't just happen unless you fucking write them to have like a good ending.
Dude, there's so many things that happen that like if one thing was different, if like one even like kills on the map in a tournament that happened that led to, like, for example, me joining you guys, I got dropped off Complexity after winning an event, then somehow went to TK. We could have got last place, but like clutched up to tie last minute, then roared to second place. And then me placing second wanted you guys to want me more because we just went to second with TK. Then I joined you guys, and like just how that goes all along the way. It like it's like fairy tale stuff.
It is.
That's what makes COD entertaining, though, and that's why what we're doing this year. I'm glad we changed it, because we need those stories. You need those something to go along the way to give people like, oh shit, like what just happened? I can't believe that just happened. And then it leads to some crazy somebody winning a tournament, and then like everybody goes wild, Twitter goes wild, social media goes wild. I mean, that's what COD is.